and say, hey, record this.
I saw that. I saw it right as
Thanks,
you
honey.
settled in. So, yeah, good thing I didn't record the first part because all the crap coming out of my mouth. So it's recording. And so what I'm trying to share is that what we experienced was absolutely different than even on the leader calls that many of you all might not have been on. This was a whole nother level. It was, guys, I've been in this industry for now 20 plus years, 22, something like that, 20, I don't even know. 99, so it's 22 years, right? And Bo is as good as it gets in the industry. I've been very, very, Sean saying, or maybe it's Kim, who knows, but anyway, one of them are commenting, it looks like Sean, but never know. So basically he was like very presidential. Like this guy could literally, he is so polished, so skilled that he absolutely would win whatever he ran for because he really knows how to communicate. He is an absolute fantastic communicator. And he went over the nuts and bolts, and we're going to bring on some people that actually used what he talked about and went out and implemented it and did it. And guys, if you notice, and I want to be very clear, and if I say anything that is outside of system that you guys know, just know that there is no outside of system in terms of we follow a 4-step, very simple system. Yet at the same time, if you're going to go hunting, you want to have multiple different tools, multiple different, yes, I'm recording Tony because Hillary jumped on me. So you want to have multiple different weapons, tools, right? Like there's certain seasons too. Like there's bow season, there's, black powder season, and then there's rifle and all this other stuff. And that's the same is true when we're talking about people. And we've gone through where people weren't necessarily doing the whole face-to-face type marketing in a long time now. And everybody's been doing social media and attraction marketing, and what he taught can work on both, by the way. But what I was talking to Sean Kelly earlier, and I'll let him share in a little while as well. But the thing is he was like, he went out and said, he set a goal for himself and went out and hit that goal for the day. And he was like, it was the craziest thing. Almost everyone immediately gave him their information, and they seemed like enamored to do it. Like, no way. And like, it was a different thing. People are looking for connection right now. And because we've had this whole everything being social media, now everybody's trying to market social media, and everybody and their grandma are hitting people up, cold messaging, and all this stuff to people. So the people that stick out are going to be the people that are picking up the phone, the people that are actually, are doing the old school network marketing. That's just my thoughts. It's my belief. And then you're not dependent upon algorithms, and you're not dependent on what Facebook allows or who Facebook allows for them to see your post. So guys, it was in 22 years of doing this style of marketing, going to training after training after training after training after training, and having some of the best people in the industry having all their tapes and programs and all that stuff, which I have invested, I would venture to say in excess of $100,000 in personal development seminars and whatever. People spend all this on school to go to college and all that. They spend several $100,000 to go to college. So I figured, hey, I never went to college. I'm going to invest into myself, in books, audio tapes, programs, events, and all that stuff, which I've done. And what I can share with you is that he is as good as some of the best people I've ever seen in the industry. And it's hard to say, oh, this person's better than that person, all that stuff, because different strokes, different folks, different styles, all that stuff. What I will tell you is his skill set was every bit as good as every single thing, every top person I've ever seen that I was like absolutely impressed by him. But more importantly than that, I was impressed by his integrity and what he said and why he's here. And that's what really excited me. But instead of me going and rambling anymore, I see we have Lisa on, we have Hillary on, we have Toni on, we have Sean on, we have Michelle on, we have a bunch of different people. And I know some people shared on the call this morning. So, and I know a lot of people are in there, and we're going to be putting up that audio, or I'll put up that video on YouTube today. So if we could, let's start off, let's see how long this takes. So let's start off with some people that we didn't hear from this morning, just kind of get some insights and maybe some takeaways of what some people got from the call, or not from the call, from the event this weekend. And guys, it was an experience. So with that, since I'm looking at Hillary, why don't you start it off?
Hey, all right. Yes, awesome. I wish I was on the call this morning. I was flying back. It always amazes me that I was just in a beautiful sunny place and now I'm freezing again. And it's like so cold. I want to go back. Wow, you guys. Being a part of this profession, right? The industry, the profession for over 8 years. I've gone to a lot of conferences too, right? I've heard a lot of people speak. What really just stood out, hey Tanya, what really just stood out to me, hands down, of a moment of absolute, I talk about it all the time, you guys, right? Like the 4 pillars of belief: belief in the industry, belief in your company, belief in the products, belief in yourself. And this weekend fully just put a belief in our company to a next level, because while I was listening to Bo train and talk, and he's phenomenal and have pages of notes and things that I could share that I could never deliver the same way that he does, right? I'll share some of them, but what I just keep going back to is the fact that that man is steering the ship. He is our CEO, you guys. He's not some guy that our company paid to come in and deliver a speech for us, right? To train us. He's literally steering the ship for us. And that should just excite you so much and give you this sense of belief that you can't help but go share it with people. Because we truly have, I'll be fully transparent. When I first came in here, I had major PTSD, like network marketing PTSD, because I was told all the things, right? And I didn't really know. I believed in the products. I knew what they were doing for me. I saw what they were doing for other people, but I really ran with customers because I wasn't fully in the belief of what this business and what this company and this opportunity could do. So I started off crazy customer recruiting, you guys. Now I'm like, I want everyone and their mother to be a part of this company, because what we have is so stinking special. And something that Bo said, and I was like, duh, there were so many moments where I literally probably said, duh, makes so much sense, such a light bulb moment. He said, our greatest product is our opportunity. That's our greatest product. The business opportunity is the greatest product, because getting someone in and sharing this opportunity into the business exposes them to all the products, right? Exposes them to all the things. And when he was sharing it like that, and just the posture that he has, the man, like Chris said, he could literally run for office. His dad has been in politics. I don't think he was a senator, I think, or something. Anyways, the man is charismatic, but the thing is that you can feel the sincerity. You can feel the integrity. It does not ever come across as BS, right? It doesn't. You can, once you've been around for a while too, the BS meter, it's really gets activated sometimes, and you're like, okay, yeah, right. Okay, next, right? But just the fact that we have this man with this integrity, and really to just take everything that our amazing leaders, Chris and Ricky and Mark and Judy and everyone who has been here at the beginning to start this, to be able to now say, all right, who's with me, let's go, right? Like it's all come together is so stinking exciting. I loved how, I'll share this really quick. I mean, he shared tons of stats, but just one thing that he shared about when you're presenting the business opportunity that stuck out to me too, when you're sitting down and talking about the business opportunity is starting off like asking a couple questions to people. And he says, you know, I want to ask you a couple questions so we can get right to the point before he even presents, right? And the first one is, hypothetically, if what I showed you works, are you looking for a supplemental income, a primary income, or something more consistent? I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but over time, right? Opening up that dialogue, that question of hypothetically, if I show you this thing and it works, are you looking for supplemental, primary, or something more significant? Again, I'm not telling you it's going to happen overnight, but over time, right? And then depending upon what they say, really why, you know, all right, great. You're looking for a supplemental income. Why? What are you looking to do? And this is really helping the person that you're prospecting start to dream without going to them very weirdly. And Chris, tell me about your dreams. What are your dreams? Right? Like it just, again, it keeps it from being weird. And you're just like, hey, to the point, right? I don't want to waste your time type thing. So, I mean, again, there were so many things and I could talk forever. I don't want to monopolize this, but I was talking to Chris on the way home from the airport this morning. And I'm just like, man, it's go time. Like it is go time. We have it all together. And just, I want you all to, like Chris, that you said it perfect. Like, I hope that you guys are on this call, the ones that couldn't make it, and you're not maybe sitting there going like, oh man, I don't know if I really want to listen to this because I wasn't there or whatever. Or it doesn't matter. Literally, what I'm telling you is from the bottom of my heart, from the fire in my belly, run. Like run with this opportunity, run with the opportunity, the business side of things, present it to people. I used to do it backwards. I used to do the products first, and I'm flipping it because really with those questions too, are you looking for that supplemental primary income or something more significant? I like how he shares, it's not going to happen overnight, right? You're planting those seeds. I'm not coming to you saying, hey, you want to make $100,000 next month, right? Like just something super ridiculous. And again, I just think it really speaks to the absolute integrity. So there's so much that he shared, but I just wanted to say that, like, I'm so stinking excited for what we have. It's real, it's genuine. Even my husband, he's been with me to these things before, you guys, and he's the king of like sniffing out stuff, like, oh, okay, whatever, and he's seen me at like the top, of bigger companies and whatever, and all the things, and going to their big events and, the trips and all the things. And we got back up into the hotel room, and that's what I'll leave you guys with. We got back up into the hotel room before we're going to go to dinner. And I looked at him, I'm like, babe, what'd you think? Right? What'd you think? And he looks at me and he's like, it's real here. It's real. And you guys, that's what it is. It's that simple. It's real here. It's not BS, not fluffing. Like, we have a real opportunity, a real chance. And it was a moment where I'm like, I can see my husband dreaming and thinking with me as well of what this could do for not only our family, but our, kids' kids and the other people that we want to impact through all the things that we want to do. So that's what I wanted to share.
Good stuff. Let's go to Lauren and Todd.
All right. So what I'm going to share is not quite that amazing piece that Hillary shared. The value that we get from going that sometimes is missed is just hearing, like she said, the compassion and those things. But what you also miss is the meetings that happen in the Starbucks before anything, before anybody even shows up, before the event even happens. We were standing in the Starbucks line, and there were two gentlemen behind us. They had had a quick conversation with Bo, because Bo had come and gone and passed in and said hi to everybody and had a little conversation. And we realized that they were new to the business. And while we were standing there talking, they started asking us questions. They realized we were in the business. And Earl Green is standing behind us, and they're asking us the questions, and we ran them through the script, and we ran them through the things that we did, and they're like, how does this work? And I said, well, let me tell you about my story. And we ran them through the script, and Earl Green standing in the back, grinning like a Cheshire cat, and nodding his head like, yes, they are showing them how to do the things that this is really duplicating. And we went out, and we sat down, and we invited those two guys. They were going to sit at another table. And if you know us, nobody ever sits alone when we're around. That's not going to happen on my watch. I want everybody to feel included. So we invite them to sit down, and Earl was going to sit down by himself, and Earl came over and he sat down. Next thing you know, Ricky's sitting with us. Next thing you know, Chris is standing at the table. And these guys are getting some real valuable real life information, and the same thing from everybody else, but from different personality colors, from different ways of doing things. And those are the things that you just can't get if you're not there. It's the hugs. It's the not seeing everybody on the Hollywood squares. It's the actual human interaction of what happens when we get together and feeling the power and the energy of everybody. And it just has something incredible when you get to hear everybody's stories. I mean, everybody that walked by the table with our team, I asked them to share their story, because I figured my team probably hasn't heard them, and I wanted one of them to resonate. And so many of you guys resonated with my team. They are just on fire, blown up more than they ever could have been if they would have just not been able to make it. So while I know it's not affordable, we never want anybody to mortgage their house or forgive, the mortgage on their house for these things. But if you know that there's an event coming up, which there likely will be, start saving now. Don't miss out. This is going to be vital for you. It's going to be vital for your business. It's going to be vital for your mental and physical well-being. These are real people. And we've done this before too. Like Hillary said, we've had the network marketing PTSD, and my story pretty much resonates identically with her. I had to know that somebody unfortunately with no success instead of having success could come in here and do this, and that we could bring in a team and feel good about what we were doing, because we knew that the person at the bottom with no experience could win. And that happens here. The authenticity, the realness. My team is just blown away by how real everybody they met were. So that's kind of my little piece of what else there was.
Boom, perfect. Todd, anything from you, man?
I just have to go with everything. Bo's training was great, especially how just to open up a conversation. Sean, as you mentioned, he mentioned it on a coffee chat today, and I was actually so impressed with Sean's thing. I pulled my truck over to stop to listen to him speak about it. It's just the way he did it, and going out and finding his number of 20 people and the way they responded to it. I got to stop working so I can get out and start working. Oh. It's great. And the event was, so much fun. It was like a vacation. I recommend it to everyone.
Awesome. Michelle has her hand up. She's in the comments. I have something to say. I have something to say. Beep, beep, beep.
So, yeah, you're right. You're right. Hillary, I'm freezing too. I'm freezing. Lisa and Todd, yes. Yeah, you made everyone feel welcome. But what I wanted to share was I came late because I couldn't find the ballroom, and I was hiking up there. And I entered and I stood and I saw Bo standing in the corner. And he looked nervous, and I thought to myself, how is this man nervous, And he spoke, how many hours did he speak? 3 hours? 3 hours? And he was back there, and I said, Mr. Short, please don't be nervous, because we're here for everything that you're bringing us. And that man brought us every cell of himself, everything in his heart, his soul, his mind, his skill, his intelligence. He brought it, and he gave it all to us like the keys to the kingdom. And wow, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. McLean, over to you.
What up? So I just second everything everybody said. Like Todd is like, what am I going to say? Y'all said it already. I feel you, bro. Presidential is the word. I mean, you know, Bo's in my upline literally in 1996 when we signed up for Amway a week after we got married. And I drug Kim by the back of her hair to every one of those events, and she hated me. And actually, half of them I just went to by myself. But the point is, what I was in the shower tonight, and I'm thinking about what I did with those old Bo Short tapes that I had. And I ended up getting rid of them years later. I kept them for years and years after we got out of that business. And I'm kicking myself in the shower because those tapes got me through life years after we were out of the Amway business, when we weren't even in network marketing. They just got me through life. And that's what I mean. You can't, I'm listening to you guys and everybody that just spoke, and I'm like, okay, now I kind of hear, like, if I wasn't there, what I might feel like. It's like, oh my God, these guys are all talking. But so this is what I want to share with you. This dude is the real deal. Holyfield, like the real deal Holyfield. Like, it doesn't get more real than this. And the best of the best, like Chris was saying. Like, I've seen a lot of greats, and he's right there with all of them. And his peer group, and this is kind of what blows my mind. You know, you are the sum, the 5 by 5, right? You're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time around, not the 5 that you choose. Think about that. So if you got a bad coworker, you're around 40 hours, they may be one of your 5. But Bo Short grew up with 5-star generals in his peer group, in his dad's peer group. These guys serve on his charities. They, like, he's the epitome of patriotic and not political. That's the whole point of being a true patriot in America, is you have to give room for the opposing side and love them, even though they're opposite of you. And he lives and breathes every bit of that, as well as literally giving us the nuts and bolts to go and build this business in the most simplistic forms possible. Goes right along with what everybody's already doing. And dynamic would be the word. You can't describe what we experienced. And you just got to, so look, you can't go back and go to the event. You just can't. I hope Abe got some good audio and good video, and we can share some of that later. But what I can tell you is this. If you've been holding back a little bit, now's the time to cash in all your chips. It's go time. Like, this is it. It don't get no better than where we are, period. We already got the best products. We already got the best comp plan. We have flat out the best culture and community of all the companies out there. I'm just telling you, I've been around. I'm telling you. And now we got this leadership here. It's insane. It's go time, guys.
So guys, as we're sharing this, like, I mean, and some of you all, and I just want to go because I know how I've thought in the past and stuff like that. And many of you all are like, you know, who cares how good this guy is? Like, how does that affect me? You know, like, what's in it for me? Like, so what if he's polished? So what if he knows all this stuff? So what if, well, this is why. Because a group of us all came together. Many of you all, or all of you all on this call, are a part of that, where we shared that we wanted to create something different, which we have. That we said we wanted to be the changing industry, which we are. That basically we wanted to create something special. And we never knew how it was all going to play out. We just knew that we had a vision of what we wanted to create. And over time, we've attracted person after person. I mean, we're so blessed to have Garrett and Sylvia here. We're so blessed to have the rest of the corporate team that we have here. We're blessed to have the leadership that we have here. And the thing is that all of that is the reason why we're so excited about this, is because we were still missing one little nugget or part of the pie. And this was like, if you're trying to open up a combination lock and you're missing one of the numbers, you don't get the lock open. And we feel, based on, you know, his experience and why he's here, and what he's here for, that was the missing piece. And that's why we're so excited. And that's why we're sharing, all of what this is. So let's call on Sean Kelly real quick. Sean. And it's funny because we all make stories up. We all tell ourselves a bunch of different things. And even after going to the event, and Sean and I and Ricky and a bunch of us, Sean and Kim and a bunch of us all went to dinner. And as we're sitting there, Sean was sharing with us how he was, he had set a goal for himself, but then he was talking himself out of his own goal. He was talking himself out of that. And basically, then he said, the hell with it, I'm going to go do it anyway. So Sean, if you would, real quick. And as he's sharing this, I want to be clear because I know this is going to happen too. Some of y'all are going to say, well, I don't have time to be able to do that. And I can't do that because, don't tell yourself some silly story. What he's going to share is what he did because he had the time to do it at that time. But what we talked about was, and Bo talked about this, is you do this 1 to 3 times a day. How many of us can talk to 1 to 3 people a day? Every single one of us. Everyone. So what he's going to talk about, how he set a goal that I'm not leaving Orlando until I talk to 20 people, and he talked to 22, but that doesn't mean that you have to go talk to 22 people or you're not going to be successful. It's 1 to 3 people a day, every day, consistently. One of the things about Ricky is he's consistent, right? Always consistent. If you go on Facebook in the morning, there's going to be a positive quote that Ricky put out there, right? He's going to have something. He does certain things every single day. He's consistent. Well, this is about consistency. It's about doing 1 to 3 times a day consistently. So Sean, over to you, my friend.
Hello. So, one of the things Bo said was just try it 20 times. And I know some people say, oh, I'm not going to do this. It's not my personality. And Bo challenged, he said, well, try it 20 times, then tell me it doesn't work. And so I was just thinking to myself, I've got some big goals and I got to get out of my own way. So what better thing to do than to take Bo's challenge? And I said, before I leave Orlando, I'm going to find 20 people. I don't live in Orlando. Who cares what the people in Orlando think of me? So all those little fears and voices in my head just kind of quieted, and I just went out and just randomly went. Just to give you an example, I went to T-Mobile, and I'm always shopping different cell phone companies. Who's got the deal? And so I went up to T-Mobile, asked them, hey, what's the promotion right now? And then at the very end of the conversation, I said, okay, cool, thank you. Hey, by the way, can you help me with something? I'm from Tampa. I don't know anybody in Orlando, and I'm trying to expand my business in Orlando. Do you know anyone like the go-getter type that would be open to making an extra $1,000 or so a month on top of what they're already doing? And he looked at me and said, well, yeah, me. I could tell this guy had like this entrepreneur type feel to him. And so he said, absolutely, I'm interested. And so then he gave me his name and his phone number. And so this kept on happening time after time after time. I just went into Google and there was a place called the Florida Mall because it was a rainy, crappy day in Orlando. So I would go to this Florida Mall and there's like 1 billion people and 1 billion stores. And I just realized, like, holy crap, there are so many people to talk to. And I'm not like just tapping on people's shoulders that are walking through the mall. I'm finding a reason to talk to them. Another example is the hotel clerk. I walked up to the clerk or the front desk person. I said, hey, how do you get to Starbucks from here? And he said, well, it's down there. Take a left at the light and then it's on the right. Okay, thanks. Hey, by the way, I was wondering if you could help me with something else. And then I repeated the exact same thing that Bo Short taught us. And he said, well, I'm interested. So this kept on happening. And then out of 22 people, only 4 people did not give me their name and phone number. And I didn't feel rejected. It was so epic because nobody likes to feel rejected, but I was open to it because I was obviously, going through the 20 people. But even the 4 people that didn't give you their number, they just said, no, I don't know anybody. And one lady said, she knew I was coming at her with some type of opportunity. And she's like, you know, I'm stressed out. I'm working a job. My husband has a trucking business. I'm just not open to anything right now. And I said, no problem. And in the future, I'll be able to flip that lady into a sample or a customer. But this was just an experiment today that I was just going on to the next one, going on to the next one. And it just made me realize how many people are out there that we have to talk to. And it just blows my mind how I've been beating my head against the wall. And I'm not saying get off of Facebook, but there's so much more out there than Facebook. So now I have 18 leads who are open to making extra money, who are open to the video, who are open to our 4-step simple system that I'm going to put them all through. And what do you think is going to happen to my business? I mean, I believe Chris and Bo Short and everything they're teaching us it's just going to explode. Think about this over, like Bo said, over 24 months. What's going to happen to my business if I do like what Chris said, let's say 3 a day, 21 a week. And there might be a heavy day where I do like 12 in a day, but just on average, let's say 21 a week over 2 years time. What's going to happen to my business? And then duplicating it. It's just insane what's going to happen. So, and then even when I got home today, I live in a community where there's like a clubhouse and a pool and a gym in my community. And this guy was doing some paint repairs in our clubhouse. And I just realized, holy cow, why do I stop in Orlando? I got to just make this a daily practice. Just grab a couple every day. And I did it to the painter in the weight room. And he said, absolutely, I'm interested. And then he gave me his name and his number. And then he just like was looking at me like, so when are you gonna call? What you got to go right now? I'm like, yeah, I'm in a hurry. I got to go, but I'll give you a call as soon as I can. And I left him wanting more. So he's, hope that helps.
Yep. And it's funny because in a conversation at the gas station, I'm at Buc-ee's, I'm pumping gas, and the guy next to us kind of started the conversation, just like, hey, how you doing? And started talking to him and, where are you from? And all that stuff. Asked him what he did and all that. And he's like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, let me ask you this. And I just basically went through, I'm like, do you know anybody? I asked him if he heard that happiness challenge. And then I asked him if he knew anybody in his area or whatever. And he's like, well, I don't really know anybody. But then he started asking about what it is that we do. Like, what exactly do you do? And I'm like, we challenge people to get happy, and we have products that help them to do that, like coffee. We have whatever, long and short of it, sampled him right there at the deal, got his information, didn't know anybody that wanted to make an extra $3,000 in his area, he said, but wanted to try the products, wanted to be more happy, right? So the thing is that it's an easy transition one way or another, and we're still using the 4-step system. Like, none of this stuff changes. So like, this isn't, so I want to be clear. So I have to put the disclaimer out there because we got crazy people, because we're all crazy, considering we're, stepping out of the box, unlike the traditional person that, just has a job. But the thing is that we basically are outside thinkers, and being an outside thinker, I got distracted because we had an unmuter. See that? But I have no idea what I was saying. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is guys, this is not out of the system. This is what we do, right? And what we do, we're going to have a couple other people, and then we're going to close out with a little strategy session here. But who else do we have that wants to share? I know we have Toni on here. We have a bunch of people that were at the event. Colby, did you want to share real quick? Or
yeah, so today I did Bo's thing too, where I went to the mall and just started talking with people. And at first it took me a while to do it. And because I was just talking myself out of it because I had goals for me. I was like, I want to get 5 contacts today. And I remember I was sitting in H&M, just continually looking at the clothes and seeing people that I could go up to, but I was just continually talking myself out of it, getting a little anxious until I told myself, I was like, okay, thinking about the things you've done in the past, all you have to do is do it the first time and then it's going to flow. So I found a lady and I was like, you know what? Went up to her. I was like, hey, excuse me, could you help me? I was like, hey, I'm Colby Silva. What is your name? She shared her name. I was like, oh, do you live in this area? And she was like, yes. And then I was like, awesome. You could really actually help me. So I'm looking to start a business in the Gaffney area. And I'm looking for, I don't know, go-getters, people who are open, who are not opposed to making a couple $1,000s a month. Would you know anyone like that? And she was like, actually, yeah, my son's. And so I got her contact and I was like, thank you so much. Then I left and I just started doing it over and over again. And most of the time they gave me it. And if not, it was like no pressure. They're like, no. I was like, okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. And I just went on to the next, on to the next. And I'm like, Sean, I was like thinking I can go to the mall and just like run wild because there's so many people there. And now it allows me to be like, okay, I don't have to sit on my phone all day and scroll through social media. That I can actually go out in public and still build the business and grow that experience and grow me as a person. And it just make it more enjoyable and fun. And it was amazing how easily it flowed and how much pressure it took off of it about sharing it. And just to see the excitement with people, because some people would ask, like, what is it that you do? I was like, have you heard of the Happy Company? They're like, no. I was like, what? You haven't heard about it? Like, everyone's talking about it. The Happy Coffee? No, you got to be kidding me. And then they got excited, got the contacts. And so now I have people from all over that are not even from the area. And it was just amazing to see what he has given us is like just so fluid, and it just works. It just works.
Boom. So as you're watching, if you're reading in the comments and stuff like that, and Brian's basically, sharing some stuff in there, because look, and we talk about this all the time, people are going to create a story and they're going to be telling themselves why they can or can't do this. Well, my personality isn't that, my whatever, and that's all good. And you can say whatever you want and you can build however you want to do this. And again, we have a 4-step system. We're giving you more ammunition. We're giving you different ways. We're giving you some other things. My wife's over here laughing because, what Sean and Colby are talking about is when I got started in the industry, that was the only way to do it. Like after you hit your warm market, I was in my early 20s and it was like, I talked and I was selling legal services, guys, right? Like I'm selling legal insurance. And I'm in my 20s. Imagine me. I'm roughly in, Colby's age, Gavin's age. And I'm sitting here talking to my friends about why they need a will and they need, a lawyer, insurance. Like how weird is that crap, right? And so I had to go out there and meet people. I had to go do these things. And that was the only way to do it back then. We didn't even have, did we have cell phones? Okay, I guess we had cell phones. I remember beepers and stuff doing the bit. It's just crazy, right? But Colby's like, what the hell's a beeper? They didn't have beepers when I was born. But this is the thing, guys. It's really a matter of sharpening your axe. It's a matter of just getting better. Worst case scenario, you're going to get better at talking to people and connecting with people. And I've been sharing this for a while. I have been feeling and believing that we have to equip this team to be able to step things up to another level. We saw all the censorship and all the things in the last 6 months. We're seeing even more and more on how basically if you don't believe a certain way, you're being shut off, closed down, whatever, and Facebook doesn't show your stuff. And that's just a reality. So then you are in a business where it's dependent upon if Facebook agrees with your philosophies or not, or if whatever. And what I'll tell you is Facebook does not agree with any of our philosophies of building a business on their platform. They don't want to show our stuff because they want us to pay them to advertise. So they don't want to share our stuff. If you have you're a home-based business person and all that, and your profile and all that, they show your stuff less. It's crazy. That was the stuff that used to be able to use and attract people on there. But now if you have all that stuff in your profile and all that, they don't show your information to people and all that. So guys, we just want to equip you to be able to have other arrows in your quiver so where you can use. Again, look, a lot of us are going to still continue to do attraction marketing and all that. And I highly recommend that. We're not saying to not do any of those things. We just want to equip you to do other things. So with that, Toni, are you going to share? Because some people are saying if you don't share, you're in trouble and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're joking. I mean, you're not really in trouble. I don't know if you're even still there.
Hey, Chris, well, we're trying to find her. She's getting to a place where she can talk. I just wanted to touch on a couple things too that were like, again, dumb moments in what Bo was sharing, because you guys, full disclosure, going up to people like Bo is talking about and what Sean and Colby did, I don't want to do that either. I tell myself a story too. It scares the bejesus out of me, right? But what it does, Colby, for real, and bejesus, it is, and it does, it scares me. But what scares me more is missing this opportunity or not being able to share it. But a couple things that Bo shared, especially because for me, what plays in my mind, the tape that goes is, oh man, what if they say it's one of those things, right? Like, what if one of the things when you go in and they're like, oh, is it one of those things, right? And I loved what Bo shared with this, where he just said back, what is one of those things, right? Like, what do you mean? What is one of those things? And just asking the question back. Or if someone says, I think this is where a lot of people get like, oh, I don't know what to do in person. What if they ask me what it is? Shoot, what do I say now? Right? It's like, you just go right back to what Colby did, part of the script of, hey, have you heard of the Happy Co everyone's been talking about? No. What is that? Oh my gosh. Do you know anyone who drinks coffee, tea, or lemonade? Well, yeah. What if you were able to recommend a coffee, tea, or lemonade to them to switch out and you got paid for that recommendation? Would that interest you? Right? Just simple, like, again, I think that Bo is like the king of the one-liners. I don't know if he has a one-liner book, but he needs one. And the more that you just repeat these things over and over and over again, the easier it gets. And again, it just reverts back to the script that we already have, right? And the next thing when you're doing it in person, which is really important, is you got to be busy. Like, you got to be going and waiting for the appointment to, oh, that's a great question. I'll cover all of that when we chat, when I give you a call next time. I'm in a really big hurry. So I just wanted to throw those things out there too, Chris, because again, it scares me too, but it also excites me. And just like Brian shared, I know that for even myself to get to that next level, the things that scare me the most are probably the ones that I should do. Right. So I want to throw that in there too.
So, how many of us have recruited people and then they don't do anything? Has anybody had that happen before? It was funny because actually on the way up to Orlando, I was thinking about this, also talking about it. And I've been going back, listening to a lot of the old trainings that I used to listen to and all that. And one of the things I used to do is I would sit down with people and I would draw out their business for them, because a lot of people are asking, like, so what is this? And I actually did this. I had, I think it was Colby on the phone with, it was Colby, Gavin, myself, and a new guy, Matt. And we're on the call and kind of did a welcome call with them. I got called to talk to Colby. And I'm like, well, hey, if I'm going to talk to Colby, I don't want to repeat myself because I know I need to talk to Matt after. So I just put Matt on the call too. So anytime you could bring other people in, and if you're talking to one person, knock out multiple birds with one stone, you want to do that. And then what I did is I shared some information with Colby prior to that I then had Colby share with the new person, Matt. So where Colby is already in the teaching knowledge aspect, because we have 4 types of knowledge. We have learned knowledge. That's what a lot of people this weekend learn, some different knowledge. We have activity knowledge. That's what Colby and Sean and everybody's talking about. what they did after the fact that they learned it and they went out and did it. And then you have modeling knowledge. And what people are modeling is someone that has had success. So modeling knowledge is super important. You want to model someone that has the lifestyle that you desire. And then the fourth and most important is teaching knowledge. It's now teaching other people what it is that you've done, that you've modeled, that you've learned. And that's exactly what, Colby was able to do. Well, what I did right after is I asked him and I said, who do you know that's a go-getter, that's sharp, that has great people skills? And he tells me Austin. And he told me a few other names. And now I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this on Zooms, if we're doing welcome calls on Zooms. But what I would do is I would get people, because everyone, when they're looking at something like this, they're basically, they're sitting there thinking about, who do I know that would do this with me? And in their mind, they have a few people that they could think of that would do it with them. And what happens is that when people go to talk to those people, and what we found is that if they go to talk to those 5 people that they're thinking of, and one of them does it, then they're like, wow, this thing works, and they'll keep doing it. But if they go talk to one of those people and the person doesn't do it, then they're like, well, this thing isn't going to work anyway, and they quit on themselves before they ever got started. So what I always did was I got people started by actually doing it for them, with them, and then they do it on their own. Now, we were fortunate when we got started here is because we talked about going after just influencers in the very beginning, and we got our team of generals together. So all the influencers would just pick up the phone and call other influencers. But when we're talking to the 80%, the average people that have never owned a business or things like that, they might need a little bit more, coaching on exactly what to do. And that's where this works out perfectly. So what I would do is I basically say, who are the 3 sharpest people you know? And I'd get those people's names. And then basically what I would do is I would draw it out in front of them. I'm like, all right, Doug, Mary, Sue, boom. Who do you know that Doug knows? I'd write that person's name down. Who do you know that person knows? I'd write that person's name down. Who do you know that person knows? John, who do you know that John knows? Randy, who do you know that Randy knows? Lauren, who do you know that Lauren knows? Well, I don't really know anybody that Lauren knows. All right, great. Go back to the top, do it again. And you do that over and over and over and over, and you start filling up the page with names. And what this does for people, it makes them imagine, oh my gosh, this is how it works. I have all these people on my team now, even though they haven't joined yet, but we don't know, right? So we're painting a picture, a visual picture of what their team looks like. And then what I do is I say, great, call Doug now. Call him real quick. So I was on the phone with Colby. I'm like, hey guys, we're going to jump off. And we jumped on the phone with Austin. And I was like, hey, Austin, just wanted to jump on the phone with you. I asked Matt. I'm sitting down with Matt. We're working on a project together. We're expanding an international marketing company. And basically, I asked him, who did he know that was a go-getter, motivated? I'd much rather work with people that are referred to me than people that get out of ads. And your name came up. He said that you were really sharp. I just wanted to see if he was telling me the truth or if you were paying him to say good stuff about him. And I laughed. And then basically he laughed and he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm a go-getter. Absolutely. And I said, would you agree that in these crazy times, people could use a little bit of happiness? And he's like, absolutely. He goes, look, I'm in college and people are stressed out. They're going through all kinds of stuff with all this lockdown stuff. And we're not in class the way they were. And he started telling me how unhappy people are. And I'm like, hey, do you know anybody drinks coffee, tea, or lemonade? He says, absolutely. I said, what if there was a coffee, tea, or a lemonade that basically could help people be a little bit more happy? And he said, that'd be awesome. I said, well, Austin, it's really this simple. We're challenging people to become a little bit more happy in their life. And we're challenging them to try one of these products for the next 90 days. And by them doing so, to see what kind of benefits that they get. By the way, there's a money back guarantee. It's really cool. If I sent you a 3-minute video, would you go watch it right now? Absolutely. Boom. Awesome. Matt's going to send you the video right now. We'll talk to you in just a few minutes. Now, what I did is I did that with the person, and now they got to see the way their business is being done. So now we're like, all right, let's call John. Boom. And you just do this over and over and over, and you start planting those seeds with the people and you do it for them, they get to hear you say it. They get to hear you do it, and you just go right into I shared my quick story. I went through the 4 steps, but I used that referral. So Colby talked to somebody earlier and they said, oh, my son. Guys, look, when I got started in this industry, this is how I was taught to do it. I was taught basically to literally call people up and say, hey, I have something important I want to show you. Is it all right if I stop by for 15 minutes? By the way, you may or may not be interested. And that's all I did. Boom. Hey, I have something important I want to show you. It'll only be 15 minutes. And by the way, you may or may not be interested. And you can do it in any format. Hey, you may or may not be interested. Is it all right if I stop by for 15 minutes? I have something important I want to show you. And then what we would do is another thing that I was taught. I literally was taught, I would go into companies and I would just say, hey, is the manager or the owner here? And they would say, and I'm starting to do this stuff again now, by the way. Like, this isn't something I just did a long time ago. I'm back doing these things. And I would go in and I'll just go in and talk to somebody and I'll say, hey, is the manager or the owner here? And they say, well, I'm the manager. No way. Awesome. Well, look, I love to talk to people that are in the management. What I like to do is network with people that have great people skills. You do have good people skills, don't you? Yes. Awesome. Look, I'm working on a project. We're expanding the business. Do you know anybody that would like to make an extra? And I just go back into that exactly like what Bo was taught. I was taught that exact same thing. And that's how I would get leads. And people would say, man, you need to call John. Even if if they don't go, what about me? They'll go, you know what? I have a friend, John, that is a go-getter. And then I'll say, hey, what's John's number? And I get that person's name. And then I go back and I call John. I'm like, hey, John, you don't know me, but I met Sean over at such and such Quickie Mart or wherever it was, right? Not Quickie Mart. I don't even know if there's a Quickie Mart. But at any rate, I'm sitting and I go, hey, I asked him, who did he know that was business mind that had great people skills and your name came up? Was he telling me the truth? Yes. Hey, John, I don't know if this will be for you or not. But I'm working on a project and I love to work with people that are referred to me. And because, you know, Sean had recommended you, I'd like to basically share what we have going on. Well, what is it exactly? Well, do you know anybody drinks coffee or tea? You know, coffee, tea, lemonade. What? Have you heard about the Happy Company everyone's been talking about? Have you heard about the Happiness Challenge that everyone's been talking about? No? Awesome. Well, look, 3 years ago, I was at the worst place in my life. A friend of mine shared this with me. Boom. I just share my quick story. And I go right into the 4 steps. Hey, if I sent you a quick video, hey, if I give you a sample, will you try it? If I whatever, and I just go from there. And guys, when somebody refers you to someone, it's way better than a cold market deal. So I'm sitting there thinking, I have cards for days. So what's going to happen this week is I'm going to start pulling out those cards of people that I got their cards years ago. And if they still have a good number, I'm going to call them up and I'm going to say, hey, John, I have your card sitting here. Apparently you pressed me enough for me to keep your card. I'm working on a project. I just want to know, do you know anybody that would say, I don't know, be open to making an extra couple $1,000s a month? Some go-getters, people that are, you know, make it happen type people. And then they're either going to tell me if it's them or not. My point is, guys, is that there are leads everywhere. And it's just a matter of going out there and share this. It's a matter of going out there and just basically putting this out there and going out there and doing it. Tony's talking about ordering blank cards. So Tony, the way that I'm doing it is I'm just basically, I'm saying, hey, if I text you some information, and it's so easy. So I'm not writing their information down on cards now. I'm just basically going in constantly, and you can go get the cards if you like. But what I'm doing, so people are saying, what's the deal with the cards? So when you hear the story, he's sharing how he has a business card, he holds it out, and instead of giving them his card, he takes the card and writes their information on it. So with that being said, I'm doing it with text. And I'm like, so when I'm saying, hey, who do you know? Do you know anybody that would be open to making an extra couple $1,000s a month without getting away with what they currently do? Then what I would do is I would say, hey, if they say me, say, look, let me get your information real quick. I'm going to text you some information. And then I tell them, I'm going to text you hey, John, this is Chris Schweda with the Happy Co. And I'll send you a link a little bit later. And that's what I do. And then what I do is I text them, hey, whatever their name is, I put my name, we met at with the Happy Co. And then that's how I know in my mind when I look at the card or on the text, I know where I met them, I know their name, and that I know that I need to send them a link. And if I gave them a sample, I might just put sample on there when I text them. So with that, guys, that is what I've been doing here for the last, I would say, month and a half to 2 months. I've just been planting seeds. And for me, I was fired up. I was excited to have, him basically validate everything that I was thinking and everything that I was already going back to the basics doing, going old school, because me personally, I'm sick of social media. Now, I'm not saying that don't build your business. I'm just saying how I feel. Like, I don't even go on Facebook anymore, really, just because I'm sick of seeing all the noise. I want to go out there and connect with people. I want to be with people. I love people, and I want real life again. I want to basically connect with people. I want to look people in the eyes. I want to shake hands. I want to hug, and I want to do all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So every time I go to the gym, I'm coming out of there with phone numbers. With that being said, we took an hour and 2 minutes. So unless Toni's going to jump on and share, because I know she's
real quick, Chris, I just wanted to add that I was thinking about, oh man, I got to get these business cards with a white clear background. And you had told me, don't worry about it, your phone. And what happened on Sunday was, it was crazy because these people were grabbing paper and pens before I could even get their number in my phone. They'd be like, yeah, me. And then they're like shuffling around on their desk or wherever they're at. And they provided the paper, pen, and started writing down their name and number without me even asking them. So the need for that card, I've canceled that need. I'm just going to either have the phone ready, or they just magically provide their number because they're excited because they hate their jobs. Let's face it.
Scratch the card and get a Post-it sticker pad, right? Have some pen and paper ready just in case, because we don't want to be caught empty-handed. I apologize. My Wi-Fi went out, so I was reconnecting and missed that you called on me, Chris. I apologize. And when I realized it, I came outside and I'm back on. But this morning I just shared a little bit more. And today, just what I want to share with you right now, because everyone's covered kind of a lot of what we experienced this weekend. And truly, we heard a lot more of it this morning than this evening. There's just no way to explain the feeling. Chris talked about that this morning. Go back and catch this morning's live morning coffee talk whenever he puts it out there, because it was absolutely incredible. Just as tonight's was, but the feeling that everyone left there with, number one is the belief in the company, and in ourselves, because Bo really did, he really helped us to believe that we're capable of doing anything that we want to do. It's up to us, and all we have to do is make up our minds that we want to do this. But and so many times we go to these trainings and we walk away really with not the right, you get pumped up and you learn things, and your belief is there and you're on fire, but you still don't know exactly what to do. And guys, he gave us that. He gave us the verbiage, told us what to do, how to use it, how to respond, how to follow up. I do know that it was recorded. I'm hoping that they're going to put his actual training, because hearing it from us secondhand is, we don't do Bo Short any justice. But, hearing, and I think Michelle, are you still on? I can't see who's on, guys. I'm in the dark. And let me see if I can see my screen.
She has it on her Facebook page. She has a good portion of it.
on her Facebook page. So I highly encourage you, all of you, go back and watch it so that you can hear the exact words that you can begin to use. And yes, you're going to fumble. Yes, the first 2 times I did it, on my way home yesterday and today, I kind of tripped up over my words. Yes, we're going to stumble, we're going to fall. But you know what? And here's what Bo said, and not just this weekend, every time that this man has been before us on Zooms, private Zooms, open Zooms, it's not about today, guys. It's not about today. Get yourself committed to give this your best 24 months and show up every single day. And you won't recognize your life and your business at the end of that. So anyway, that's it, Chris. Thank you.
All right,
I know
perfect.
we're over time.
I see Bruce had unmuted. Bruce, are you closing us out?
Oh yeah, why not? It is for me. It was like a time warp because Jenny and I have been doing this business for a little while, like you, Chris, before cell phones, and it was like a time warp, and the training was just almost identical to the training we received 20 years ago. And for Jenny and I, we've built it belly to belly, face to face, over the phone thus far already. I'm not big on social media, as you've probably seen. I'm not really out there on social media much. Jen's been learning it, but you know what? Even we've been staying at Mike and Cass's there in Sarasota for the week, from Monday through, had a bit of vacation. But just walking around Sarasota, we have 5 people to send videos to and follow up with, that we just met in the street and talked to, because that's how we've done it. We've always done it that way. And it's just exciting to see that everyone's so excited about going belly to belly and, being humans again and looking in the eye and getting out and amongst it. So it's pretty cool. Really enjoyed the weekend. Bo was phenomenal. The takeaway, there's just so many takeaways, but he looked us all in the eye, walked around the room, and he looked me straight in the eye and he says, "You going to do it?" And everyone was, yes. There was just a resounding sound in the room that it's go time. We've got a big project ahead of us to take this right around the world. And it's pretty exciting, really, really super exciting. So great to catch up with everybody and hug on people and get face to face. It was just an amazing event. Loved it.
Awesome. Again, in closing, we are not saying if you are doing social media and you're doing.
Yeah, it's cool. That's just me.
Thank you so much. If you are doing social media and you can do stories and make posts and people are hitting you up, do not think that you're like, don't stop doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We're just giving you another arrow in your quiver. That's it. Just wanted to let everybody know that. So we love all the different ways that we have to build the business. Do what you do that works for you. We just wanted to give you another way to do it. All right, guys. Love you all.
Hey, Chris, is Michelle still on here? I don't see that she's on. Yes, she is. Michelle, would you, because we're referring everyone to your page, would you mind sharing those clips into our business partner page, the Life Elevated Partners page? If you can share that into there, that would be extremely helpful, because I just went and looked and I can't find your Facebook page, and I'm sure others may have that same trouble. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris. Good night, Chris. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.